Hello and welcome back. Today's video is going to be about new makeup releases. This is a really popular type of video started by Samantha March, the Will I Buy It type videos. I used to do these videos a while ago, but I have not in a very long time. But I thought it would be fun to do because there's actually some things coming out or that have already come out that I'm kind of interested in, and some things that I'm definitely not. I do like watching these videos. I think they are a whole lot of fun. Some of these I'm definitely a bit late on talking about because they've been out for a month already, which in the beauty community is pretty much considered old by now. But yeah, I thought this would be fun to do. So let us know if you are getting any of these. Some of them, like I said, I'm considering, but we'll see how it goes. I'm also filming in a different room now. I'm kind of trying something new, so we'll see how it goes. I'm sure like the lighting and everything is very different, but it's a bit of an experiment. So let's get started. The first item, I am very late to the party in talking about this, but the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. This has been out for a month already, but I am still considering this one. I will say I try not to make impulse purchases, so I try to really think about something when a new product comes out, which is why I pretty much never buy anything right away when it's released. But this is beautiful, and Natasha Denona is my #1 favorite eyeshadow formula. I do love so many other brands, but I love Natasha Denona's formula very, very much. So I've been watching tons of videos. Most people seem to really like this, but it does seem like some people have said a few of the shades are a bit more difficult to work with. I really do love the color story, and I wanted to get the mini Zendo palette, but I never did because I tend not to reach for mini palettes. So I'm glad that I waited. And like a lot of other people, I really want her to release a mid-size retro palette because I'm sure I would be interested in that. I want to wait just a little bit more before I buy this one. I am on a low buy this year, so I can only buy a certain number of palettes, but I do think this may be one of my palette purchases. Alrighty, this next release I think is pretty bad actually. So Tarte is reformulating their Amazonian clay foundation. When I saw this on the Trend Mood One Instagram, I was so confused because I was like, oh, this foundation came out like 8 years ago. And I did have it at that time, and I totally forgot that I had it until I saw this, and I remembered this is one of the worst foundations I have ever tried. It was so cakey and unflattering. It looked really terrible on me. And so they're saying that now it's going to be less cakey and blah, 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 blah. So clearly I was not the only person that thought that. And then I saw this shade range as well, and it's really, really terrible from what I can tell. It seems like they only have like 5 dark shades. So that's just pretty ridiculous. And I don't even trust that Tarte actually reformulated this, honestly. They tend to release a lot of the same products over and over again, maybe slightly changing the name, but yeah, I tried this foundation many years ago. Maybe it actually is improved. I'm not sure, but I don't even want to find out. Next up, more cream blushes. This has been such a trend, which personally I like because I do love cream blush. I've really fallen in love with it. Becca Cosmetics is coming out with 3 cream blushes, $22 each, or you can get the bundle for $55. Personally, I'm going to pass on these just because there's so many other cream blushes that I'm interested in, but honestly, I don't mind that more companies are coming out with this type of product. It seems to be on trend. People are into it. I'm personally into it. I'm not going to get these though. There's 3 shades. They're kind of standard, like a pink, a peach, and a rose. So yeah, personally, I'm not interested in this, but there are definitely other cream blushes on the market that I do want to try. Next up is a release from Practk, and I have never tried this brand. I've wanted to, but I'm never that interested in it that I actually go through with the purchase because this is a really expensive brand. So he's coming out with this eyeshadow palette. I think it's called, yeah, the Major Dimension palette. It's $68. So pricey. Like I said, this brand overall is very expensive. I don't think I would get this, but I think it looks beautiful. It's very neutral, but it's very smoky and sultry looking. I actually think it looks really nice, but I already have these colors, and considering I've never even tried the Practk formula, I don't think I want to experiment on that with a $68 palette. I'm trying not to buy neutral palettes unless it's something that I know I'm going to love from like one of my favorite formulas, like, you know, Natasha Denona or something like that. I'm a bit leery to experiment with new formulas that I've never tried anyway, so I would want to see a lot of reviews, but I don't think I'm going to get this, but I actually think it's quite beautiful. All right, Norvina is coming out with the Volume 5 palette. And actually, I think this is a beautiful palette. It's $60, a lot of purples, lavenders, but I mean, I'm not interested in this. Anastasia is not my favorite brand anymore anyway, and I had one of the mini Norvina palettes way back last year, and I actually really did not like that formula. I know it's really popular and people really love it, but at least from the one I had, I didn't enjoy it, so there'd be no purpose in me even trying any more palettes from this kind of offshoot brand. But I will say, I actually think the colors in it are beautiful. I also have the original Norvina one that was from Anastasia with the felt packaging. I actually like that palette a lot. And there are definitely similar shades between these. Now, they're definitely not identical, but that original Norvina palette from Anastasia, I really do like it, so I'll just use that. I don't need to buy this. This next release I think is really beautiful. Again, I don't want to buy it, but I'm just appreciating its beauty. It is the MAC Botanic Panic Collection. Beautiful kind of pastel palette, highlighters, lipsticks. The packaging is really beautiful. When I saw this, I admit it gave me a lot of nostalgia because I used to be a huge MAC fan. Particularly, I loved buying their limited edition collections. But this was like 10 years ago, and I like some of their permanent products, but I pretty much never buy from their limited edition collections anymore, but I used to be such a fan of those. I would get so excited. I was one of those people who would be showing up at the store the second it opened on the days that these limited edition collections were showing up. I was really intense about my MAC collections 10 years ago, but yeah, I don't think I would get this, but I do think it's beautiful, and it just takes me back to MAC to those old days where I loved it. No pun intended, by the way. This next release does not interest me at all, although I would be interested in trying the brand at some point, and that is the Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag Facelift palette. So basically, Manny MUA is revamping this palette, which was, I think, the first palette that he released from his brand. I hate to say this, but I just feel like this looks kind of cheap. I don't know. It's like one side is neutral, the other side is colorful. It's obviously very similar to that original Life's a Drag palette that he came out with, but it's just, you know, changed a little bit, revamped. I don't know, there's something about this palette. I don't know, I think it's just that it's so like rainbow one side and all neutral on the other side. And I get that it's supposed to, you combine it and you can do a lot of different looks, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem cohesive to me, and I think that's why I was never interested in the palette to begin with, because it's just like all the rainbow shades, all these neutral shades. I don't know. I'm really not a fan of this. I just don't think it looks that great. But there are palettes from Lunar Beauty that look really, really nice, and their highlighters also. So I would like to try the brand at some point, but for me, this is not it. The next thing isn't really a new release, but I was just excited to see this, that Ulta is now carrying Fresh products. Fresh is one of the few high-end skincare brands that I actually really like. A lot of my holy grail skincare products are from the drugstore, but I would say Fresh and Dermalogica are the two higher-end brands that I actually think have some really good products. I've bought some things from Fresh before and have gotten some in PR, and I really like their moisturizer and some of their face masks. So for me, I would rather shop at Ulta whenever possible because the points are so much better than Sephora. So I'm just excited to see more brands at Ulta. I think for me, who it really loves shopping at Ulta because of their points, I would absolutely love to see some of these other exclusive Sephora brands there, like Fenty Beauty, Rare Beauty. That would be really awesome. So hopefully more of those brands may go there. I mean, some of them I think are more exclusive to Sephora and probably will stay that way, but I don't know. Just because I love the Ulta points, I love seeing new brands show up at Ulta. Alrighty, I have to talk about this. It's one of the most hyped makeup releases for the last month. People have been asking for Pat McGrath to come out with blushes, and she did. I definitely want to get one, but again, because of the low buy, I'm trying not to make impulse purchases. I've watched so many videos about them. I watched Kinky Sweat's video. I do want to get one, and I think the color I want to get is Divine Rose. And I got to say, I thought these were going to be more expensive than they are. When Pat McGrath announced she was going to have blushes, I thought that they were going to be between $45 and maybe even $55 because it's an expensive brand. I mean, her palettes are $125. Her foundation costs almost $70. I thought they were going to be that much, and I was still prepared to buy one. I think $38 for Pat McGrath is actually a good price. I know that sounds crazy, but it almost sounds cheap for her brand because some of her other items are so expensive. So I'm happy about that. I love the price point. And yeah, these seem to be getting great reviews, but I will say I'm only interested in the ones in the demi matte finish because from watching all the videos I've watched, the ones that are in that more shimmery formula, I forgot what that one is called, they look quite shimmery, and I am not into that shimmery of a blush. I prefer either a matte or like a satin blush. So if I get any colors, it's only going to be in the ones in the demi matte formula. I think Divine Rose is the color I want to go with, but I don't need any blush right now anyway. Obviously, I mean, I don't ever need blush because I have so much of it, but I do definitely want to try one of these. So if you guys already have purchased one of these, please let us know. What do you think? From what I've seen, it seems to be getting really good reviews, and I think the color selection is gorgeous. Then we have a new palette from Melt Cosmetics, the Brunette palette, and I'm not interested in this at all. It looks very neutral. Melt is a brand I've never tried. I've kind of been interested in purchasing from them, but their reviews are always so hit or miss that I just never do it. I don't know. I don't want to end up with one of their not so good palettes. Some of their palettes get great reviews, others not so much. This is so neutral anyway. I mean, to me, I'm like not interested in this at all. I was kind of confused what the whole brunette thing was, like brunette hair, but then I saw some of the comments on the trend mood on Instagram that it's apparently a drink. I did not know that. And that kind of makes sense because the eyeshadow names are like alcohol related. Like one is called like Stout. Interesting. I mean, I will say they do a good job at like coming out with these themes. So I'll totally give them that. But yeah, I'm not interested in this at all. This next release, the BH Cosmetics Say It palettes. When I first saw these online, I was not interested at all. I was just kind of like, they're going with this gimmicky, you know, like swear words, whatever type thing. Colorful palettes. I have enough colorful eyeshadows. However, I started watching review videos and people are loving these palettes, and I've taken a closer look, and I think the one called Do Not Disturb, that is the one with like a light blue and a purple. I'm pretty interested in that. And I do love the BH formula. I think I have 5 palettes from BH Cosmetics. I love them all. They are some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. So I'm definitely considering this, and if I do get one, it would be that one called Do Not Disturb because that's the color story that speaks to me the most. But yeah, I gotta say, this is something that initially I was just like, no thanks. But then I started watching videos and talking to some people on Instagram too, and it seems like people love these palettes. So I do think I want to get one. I'm gonna try to wait though. I'm trying not to buy any palettes this month. Just so that I can use the palettes that I got last month, because in May I bought 2 palettes and got a palette in PR. So I have a lot of palettes to play with right now, but I think the Zendo and then this BH palette I am definitely considering very strongly. And last up, we have a new highlighter from Becca Cosmetics. This is called High Angel, and they are donating $50,000 to the Trevor Project. And supposedly this is their last release. A lot of people are saying this on Instagram, and I totally think that it's possible they may not actually shut down. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure, but I don't know. And it's totally possible that they planned this launch before Estee Lauder told them that they were going to be closing. But part of me thinks that it's definitely a possibility that they may not actually shut down, which I think would be very exciting. I mean, I like Becca Cosmetics. I like their highlighter formulas. I don't think I'm going to get this. It's kind of like an iridescent highlighter, but yeah. I'm not interested in getting this highlighter just because I don't need more highlighters, and the color I don't think I would wear that much. Although I love the Becca highlighter formula. I love Champagne Pop is still one of my favorite highlighters of all time. So Yeah, I kind of wonder if they're going to end up not actually closing down. We'll see. I mean, when they have a parent company like Estee Lauder, obviously they're the ones probably, controlling the whole thing. But yeah, I'll be curious to see if maybe they end up like revamping or something like that. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think if you have the same thoughts that it's possible that they may not actually close down. Alrighty, so these are my thoughts on some new makeup releases. I gotta say, I feel like this is the time of year where the interesting stuff starts coming out. I said this earlier in the year that I was trying not to buy too much at the beginning of the year on my low buy because I feel like summer and fall and then like holiday season is where all the good stuff comes out. And I gotta say, I mean, there's a lot on this list I'm interested in. The BH palette, Pat McGrath gloss, the Zendo palette. Pretty good stuff. The rest of it, I'm not interested in it at all. But yeah, let us know what you think. Do you guys have some of these products already? Are you going to be getting them? That is it. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.